Part 3, the story of the scroll, the path of evolution. The third is the encounter. In the 3rd year of the reign of Ahasuerus, there is the Mishta, the meal. The 3rd is the place of the encounter, the place of the alternative, the place where duality makes its appearance. It is the place of Jacob and Esau. It is the place of the wine coming from the 3rd fruit, the wine which in its development hides the alternative. In the 3rd year of the world of Ahasuerus, there is indeed the total encounter. All things come together. Everything is visible, everything of the 127 countries. For everyone, for all, there is the encounter with the Mishta. There is the encounter with the life and all that takes place in that world of Ahasuerus, which is encountered, is taken up, is consumed. Ahasuerus decides to have this Mishta when it had become clear to him that according to the laws of the Medes and the Persians, the temple, that completely different world, could not be completed. Computations had made it clear that the limits within which rebuilding might be possible had been exceeded. Development had reached the point where man would not come any more to rebuild the temple. The immense results of a development were now seen too clearly, and there was no longer a chance of reverting to another human form. Hence, immense joy and self-consciousness obtained in the world of Ahasuerus. There was no threat of a world of completely different norms any longer. The Jehudim, too, had been invited to the Mishta, and they came and feasted like the others. A single one only had avoided it. The king shows the great splendor and the unsurpassed power of his world. In everything that is included in this concept of 3, in the absolute, there is this becoming visible, this coming into prominence. Jacob, as the 3rd, gets the 12 sons. Ahasuerus shows what this world of porous umodai, this world of natural laws, possesses in the way of potentialities. One might put it like this, that the 3rd year everything presents itself that individual man as well as humanity has experienced during the thousands of years of history of mankind and has yet got in store for himself. The tremendous flight of knowledge, as long as one citizen in the realm of Ahasuerus, will lead to marvelous technology to increase ability. All this is demonstrated in the concept 3rd. In the name Ahasuerus, we find the words for brother and head united. Ancient tradition has it that he is the brother of the chief, of Nebuchadnezzar, who, to Daniel's mind, is the head. Just as Nebuchadnezzar destroys the temple, so Ahasuerus does not allow it to be rebuilt, even though it was being rebuilt and people stopped and again started building and discussing. The splendor of the world of Ahasuerus causes the temple to be superfluous. Even the Jehudim partake of that sumptuous meal. Ahasuerus, for his royal rule, has the throne of King Solomon, the son of David, copied. It is impossible for him to ascend to the throne. The copy, to his mind, pleased his world just as well. What more did people need? For a certain length of time, they had been rebuilding the temple, though at a given moment it had been stopped. The counterfeited throne of the son of David shone brilliantly as if it were real. Whoever was seated on that throne might similarly take the counterfeit redemption for real. However, there is more to come. At the Mishta, Ahasuerus has the vessels. One might call them the instruments by means of which man in the temple experiences the path of approach to God, the kilim of the temple, which Nebuchadnezzar had taken along to the world of Babel, and which thereupon had been transferred to the world of Ahasuerus, brought forward to use them as well. These kilim, these objects, formed part of the world of the temple. It is only in that world that they are purposeful. Only he that lives in that world, and only he that knows the way towards God, can make use of these kilim. For this world they are merely foolish boasting, nothing but so-called being taken up in a world which can only exist, if the temple too should exist. For the world of development, it is a would-be relevance with that other world. It is deceit, it is desecration. When Belshazzar drinks from these vessels, it spells his end. It actually is the end of the realm of Babel, the realm of Nebuchadnezzar. There is no trifling with matters of the temple in the world of the exile. This is how ancient tradition typifies the Mishta of the world of Ahasuerus. The Jehudim too partake of this drinking, although drinking from the kilim of the temple may cause them grief and may even taste like poison. It is the wine in Shushan, the wine with the Shoshana. But the world of Ahasuerus cannot offer the hallowing of this wine, for indeed it builds the world of development. That is why the wine is bound to bring intoxication there. The inebriety of the enormous, this attractive, this promising world, which already offers so much, and the wine brings the intoxication with it. Half the kingdom. It is the most particular Mishta, this meal of Ahasuerus. This our world of natural laws is a most particular world. The meal lasts 180 days, half of the year. The king only rules half the world. The other half he does not know, he does not want to know. Therefore, the meal lasts only half of the complete year. All splendor everywhere is half of the whole. The other side is obnoxious to Ahasuerus. The other side also includes the temple, which he is not willing to build completely, even though he ever pretends he does. That other half would impart an entirely different character to this side. This is what his counselor Haman had actually ever kept before him, and it was also the advice of Queen Vashti, the descendant of Nebuchadnezzar. Development and abundance. The meal of Ahasuerus is also characterized by the fact that everyone who enters into this world is offered wine which is at least as old as himself, generally even older. For the wine one is offered indeed comes from the Shoshana, from before the coming of the light of the first day. From the primal world, it is that one gets provided with the alternative to this meal, but the world of Ahasuerus hardly gives a chance to use the alternative. People get intoxicated with the splendor and the promises. One also drinks from goblets which are exchanged for others every time, for every drought. The world of development knows nothing perennial. Everything flows, everything continually changes of forms and contents. Every moment differs from the previous one and the next. The body changes, views also change. Theories are thrown away like old vessels. New ones serve to drink wine from. But these too have done their service and are thrown away. It is owing to the goblet that people have the impression all the time that they are drinking something new. One thing changes, the other repeats itself. For they are drinking in Shushan, whence the change and the repetition. The wine comes in abundance. This world of Ahasuerus is also characterized by immense multiplicity. The power of natural laws knows the significance of masses. It calls up of its own the endless multiplicity. The wine submerges the world of Ahasuerus, but only to add to the intoxication. The other path is not given any consideration. One there who does not partake of the Mishta, Mordecai, the modest one in whose name we find the beginning of the effect of the holy ointment. Tolerance and prosperity. There is no compulsion at this Mishta. One may drink a great deal at a time, or one may take little sips, as long as one goes along the way of this world. Many ways lead toward its goal. What matters is that one should sit down to this meal. This world shows great tolerance as long as one joins its general course, as long as one obeys the chief principle, as long as one accepts society as such, and drinks with the others and joins the intoxication of development. This world admits of opposition, as long as opposition joins the game, and sits down at the table at the palace of Ahasuerus and in Shushan. This world, with its immense wealth of phenomena, offers all possible openings to join at the table. Haman is the richest man in the world. This world of development has an immense power of temptation, and after the meal of the 6 months in the palace, given to the 127 princes, there is the meal in Shushan itself, which everybody sits down to, great and small. Those 7 days, it is all Shushan that enjoys the great gifts of this world. And in the name of the king, everybody does as he likes. This world promises everything. One can go in any direction as long as one takes these meals seriously, as long as one plays one's part. For on that point, this world is most sensitive. The story will unfold what will happen when Mordecai shows unwilling to join the fun. Ancient tradition has it that God says to Ahasuerus, "How is it you hold that you can fulfill every man's desire? Even I myself do not do it in this world of duality." Indeed, the promise of fulfilling anybody's desire in this world is sheer pretense. It is a promise which takes only one half into account. That is why it is often given in good faith in this world. It thinks it is able to itself to fulfill it. Ahasuerus is a fool, a malignant fool. When the promises prove difficult to fulfill, owing to the very effect of the other half, he flies into wrath and starts enforcing. Let man beware. If this world of Ahasuerus starts enforcing redemption of promises given, then the fool Ahasuerus is malignant. Then he causes his own weapon, natural laws, to act with all harshness. If promised peace is not coming, if promised prosperity is not forthcoming, then it is the prerogative of the masses, of multiplicity, of those in power to become effective. For indeed, it had been promised, and people honestly believe in that promise. The only thing that was that people forgot that desire and promise both came forth from intoxication, the intoxication of abundant wine. God tells Ahasuerus that it is only the Redeemer, the anointed one beyond this world of duality, that can fulfill all desires, that God will then also fulfill diametrically opposed things simultaneously. As ancient tradition has it, then winds will blow from various sides at the same time. At present, they can merely blow from one side or the other. In other words, now there is life or death, but then life and death will exist side by side as a unit unknown at present. Then there will be the gathering in of all things coming from all directions to the source of origin, to the deep rest in unity. Ahasuerus rules merely one side, merely one half, and he promises all things. Ahasuerus is a foolish king, as ancient tradition knows.